July 24th, more. All day long, me and Rondell wandered down the winding beach, following the water's outline, not talking. And then it went dark and we climbed up onto this locked-up lifeguard tower and leaned our backs against the wall facing the ocean. My legs so tired and sore I could hardly move, my feet aching. I sat there and sank into the tower and didn't think. A dull yellow light shining on us from the roof showed hundreds of initials carved into the dirty white paint. People's names, people saying who they loved, people's phone numbers, people telling whoever was reading to fuck off or eat a dick. Me and Rondell hadn't talked since leaving Malibu, and we still didn't. He opened up his bag and pulled out some donuts and the leftover cans of beer, and we ate and drank in silence, stretching out our tired legs. I wrote in my journal for a while, pretending last night and this morning were just scenes in a book, not real life, not what was actually happening to me, and then I put it away. We watched the dark ocean like it was TV. After a while, I caught sight of this lonely little fishing boat way out there and tried to decide who could be on it. Maybe some old dude fishing late night with no family, a grizzly beard and yellow rain boots as he pulled up a net full of tuna or salmon or whatever. Or a group of science people doing research about plankton or the chemicals found in floating seaweed. All these waterproof monitors beeping and flashing next to him on deck. Or what if it was a couple of kids lost at sea? What if they snuck onto the boat when it was tied to a dock somewhere and ducked into the cabin to rifle through drawers looking for money or valuables they could sell? And while they were down there, the rope came loose and they drifted out to sea and got stranded with no oars. At first, they probably yelled and got all pissed at each other and maybe even fought a little. But when nobody heard them, they just went quiet and sat with their backs against the cabin, rocking back and forth, confused as hell. Now they're just floating around out there, lost at sea, stranded, eating scraps of food and drinking warm beer and not talking, thinking their own thoughts about what next and how to keep alive, imagining the first thing they'd do if they could wake up and shit was magically back to normal. I glanced at Rondell, and he was staring out there too. I looked on the ocean again, even though I'd never been on a damn boat in my entire life. Still, man, I knew exactly how those two lost-at-sea kids felt. I stood up and looked inside the lifeguard tower, Rondell watching me. The plastic windows were all scratched up, and it was dark, but I could still sort of see what was inside. A tiny white card table and two broken folded-up chairs. A book turned upside down, somebody's flip-flop, an open magazine. I slid back down the wall and reached into Rondell's bag for the Catcher in the Rye. Started reading it under the dull light, but I couldn't concentrate. My mind kept wandering, and I had to read the same paragraph over and over like 6 times, and I still didn't get what it said. I couldn't stop thinking about what was going to happen to us, and Mom, and the kids on that boat. Rondell pulled out his Bible and opened it up, moved it under the dim light next to mine. I looked at him. He looked at me back. Then we both turned to our books, this time neither one of us understanding a word we were reading.